Hey, it's not clickbait, you read it right. Yep, I sold my house to live on a cruise ship. I quit my job, I got a divorce, I gave my SUV to a family member, I got rid of all my stuff so I could live on a cruise ship. Some of my stuff I sold, some of it I gave to family members, some of it I donated to Goodwill, and some of it I just trashed it. And now I live full-time on cruise ships, which is a carry-on suitcase and a backpack. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how much it's been costing me for the last 7 months to live full-time on cruise ships. And if you stay to the end, I'll reveal to you what my YouTube income was for this month, and I'll also show you what I plan to do if my plans go south. Hey y'all, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm Linnell. I sold everything and now I live on cruise ships full-time. I sold my house, left a toxic marriage, quit a toxic job, and now I travel the world with just a small suitcase and a backpack. If this video is a blessing to you, I want to encourage you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on notifications. Hit the bell for all notifications so that you never ever miss another video. And follow me on my journey from poverty to paradise. Living on a cruise ship is not what I initially started out to do. I had planned to leave my job early. I had been watching some videos and doing some research and putting away extra money and just living frugally. So because I knew I wanted to retire early, and so I did have some savings already in the works, and I was planning to leave my job early, so that was already in the works. And so with that decision to leave my job and retire early, I made plans to go ahead and sell my house and just to downsize. So I did. I sold the house in January of 2024. I left the job in March of 2024 also, and at the same time I decided the toxicity in the marriage just wasn't working for me, and I just decided I was tired of being tired of fighting for my marriage all the time, tired of being that's a story for another day, so we'll get into that in another video, maybe one day. It's kind of irrelevant to living on cruise ships, but as far as the reasoning of how I got to the point that I am now living on cruise ships, everything just came together at the same time. As far as me wanting to leave my job, selling the house so I could retire early, and then the toxicity in the marriage, everything just kind of lined up. And thankfully, at the time that I was going through this transition, I checked my emails and saw that I had some free cruises from Carnival and Royal Caribbean, and decided to go ahead and book those free cruises and just take some time off before I found my next job or the next thing that I was going to do. So I was going to cruise for maybe the next 90 days or so and see where my life was going to take me, what direction I was going to take my life. And so, as I have said in previous videos, and if you're not familiar with my story, I can't answer every question about this journey and what I'm doing in one video. So, of course, I have a series of videos on the channel that you can check out. The main question that comes up all the time is, how are you getting cruises so cheaply? And how many cruises have I booked? How long am I booked up for? That story there is in my very first video that I have linked in the video description. So feel free to check that video out and other videos that I have on the channel. It's going to answer most of your questions just by browsing through and see what videos resonate with you, whether it's what type of ships do I cruise on, what kind of cabins do I have, which cruise lines I've cruised on, how much it's cost me. I have a monthly video since I've started this showing every month how much I've spent, from the cost of the cruises to the gratuities to health insurance and all kinds of stuff are in those videos. So check those out as you please. As far as today's video, we're going to talk about how much my cruises for January 2025 cost, and then I'm going to show you the average cost that it has been costing me to live on cruise ships full time. If you see me looking down occasionally, it is because I have slides, because there are a lot of numbers involved and I don't want to give you the wrong information. So let's get into it. All of my cruises for this month were out of Port Canaveral in Florida, which is, I guess, considered Orlando on some cruises, but it's not really Orlando. It's about a 45-minute drive from Orlando. I took 5 cruises this month, 2 on Carnival Freedom and 3 on Carnival Mardi Gras. I put videos up on the channel regarding those cruises. I've done ship tours, I've done cabin tours, I've done spa tours, I've done food venue tours, I've done excursions, and all kinds of content on the channel, so you can check those out if you are interested in that kind of content and other content regarding my 7th month so far, my 7th month journey of living full-time on cruise ships. So check those out. The first cruise this year was a New Year's holiday cruise, which I shared with a friend. There's a video on the channel about that. All of my other cruises this month were solo. For the New Year's holiday, I didn't get a free casino cruise, and this cruise was almost $1,900. And sharing that with a friend, my portion of that was $944. I also got an onboard credit of $250, which I did not share with my friend, so I kept all of that credit for myself. So my net cost for this New Year's cruise, 5 days, was $694. My second cruise wasn't free, but it was less than the first one. As you can see, I paid $765, and again, I received another $250 onboard credit, making this cruise about $500 for the 5 days. I had 2 days breaks from when I got off of Carnival Freedom to when I got on Carnival Mardi Gras. Whenever possible, I am loyal to IHG brand hotels. There were 2 Holiday Inns immediately across the street from the terminal where the Carnival Mardi Gras ship was parked at. But those hotels, both of those, one was a Holiday Inn and one was like a Holiday Inn Club Vacation or something like that, that you can also book the rooms at. Both of those hotels, the rooms were over $300 per night, right? Supply and demand. The people who are going to be on the cruise ship, they're going to pay those premiums. So I decided not to stay in those hotels. Instead, I opted to go to the Holiday Inn in Viera, which cost me about $80 in Ubers each way, but it was worth it because the hotel was only $105 per night. So overall, I still saved money by going to the other hotels, by going further out, even though the Ubers were uber expensive. Also, being at the hotel over in Viera, I was in walking distance to major stores like Target and Walmart, and I also had lots of restaurant options to choose from. So for me, this was a no-brainer. After the 2-night hotel stay, I was on Carnival Mardi Gras for 21 days. The first leg of the cruise was a free cruise. I paid $167 for the port fees and taxes and a $200 deposit, which I got back in onboard credits. The third leg of this cruise was also a free cruise where I only paid for the port fees and taxes. But the cruise in the middle of those two were not a free cruise. It was a casino deal though. I paid $1,038 for the cruise, of which $500 I got back in onboard credits. So the net for that cruise was $538, and I paid $167 in port fees and taxes, making it a total of $705 for that cruise. Putting it all together, I ended up spending about $2,500 for the 33-day period for what I consider my housing costs. If you're new here, you're probably thinking, well, that's more than $2,000 a month. Well, that's because $2,000 a month is the average that I spent for the year. I had previous months that were less than $2,000 a month, which I'll show you later in the video. This slide here shows all of my expenses for January, with the exception of my YouTube related expenses, and I didn't include my casino because I played in the casino a few times, but every time that I left I was up a little bit, so it wasn't an expense, and if I win money, I don't consider it income or revenue, so I didn't include that. Also, again, I did not include my YouTube related expenses because if the point of these videos is to show if you were thinking about doing this kind of lifestyle, what kind of expenses you would be running into and maybe having, and more than likely you would not be doing YouTube. So and if you were doing YouTube, your expenses would be different from mine. So I decided to leave those out. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I would not be purchasing the Wi-Fi on cruise ships. I wouldn't be purchasing, like I bought a selfie stick this cruise because mine broke. I bought some memory cards, things like that. So those things you would not include in a regular living on a cruise ship expense budget. So I left those out of the calculation. So excluding the casino stuff and the YouTube stuff, this is a list of all my expenses for January, and I blew it up on a couple other slides. I think I have 3 or 4 slides, just in case you're more curious to see what I was spending money on. There are, of course, some expenses that I normally don't buy, and I guess they would be considered YouTube expenses because I pay for these specifically so that I can make YouTube videos about them. So when I went to the spa, I had some treatments that were done. I have videos on those where I got massages, did the seaweed wrap, the iothermy, and facial. Also, I want to do a video to show you what the food venues on Carnival Mardi Gras were. So I did do some specialty dining on those cruises, and those are in here. So just to give you an idea, if you were to do those types of things on while you were living on a cruise ship, or even if you're not planning on living on a cruise ship, just going on a cruise, so you know about how much those things cost. So yeah, those are in here. Also, my total for the month was $4,700. One thing that is new, and some of my regular viewers will be very proud of me, I did not do this because people suggested it. I did it because I wanted to do it, and that is I did purchase an insurance plan with Alliance, and it does cover me for the whole year for medical. It was $510, and I break that up into the monthly amount, so it's about $43 per month. And I decided to get that now. I did not have cruise or any kind of travel insurance before this year, because as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm 53 years old. I'm fairly healthy. I did get a full checkup, and so I kind of self-insure myself. I know that there's always a risk. There's a risk of getting sick and things like that. But because of my situation, I felt comfortable not having insurance. Now I have some cruises coming up that are more international than just me going to the Caribbean and to Mexico. They are, there are some that are I guess they're all international, but what I consider international, me taking a cruise to the Caribbean, I don't really consider it international, even though it is, but longer trips and transatlantic cruises and things like that. So I did want to make sure that I get coverage now, so I went ahead and got it for this year. In the previous videos, I would go line by line of all the extra things that I had during the cruises, but I'm still learning YouTube, and I'm trying to learn how to condense the videos. And I think if you wanted more detail to that, you can see the list of things that I had, so you don't need me to walk you through it. So I just decided to just summarize those expenses, and you can see all of the expenses that I have listed as far as gratuities, me purchasing bottled water, me purchasing room service a few times, sometimes because I was sick and I didn't want to leave the room, and sometimes just because I had a craving for chicken wings or whatever the case may be. You probably noticed that I sound congested, and I think I brought that on myself. I'm still trying to figure out the temperature in this cabin. And the thing about it is I'm in this same cabin for back-to-back cruise, so I think I made myself sick. Not sick per se, I'm just really congested because of the change in the temperature up and down. So I tried to put it in the middle, and it was way too cold, and I turned up to the heat, and it was way too hot. And anyway, first world problems, right? So on to my summary slide here. You can see that I did not meet my goal for this one particular month to stay within my $2,000 a month budget, but I did say this last month. I was expecting the December expenses to go up significantly because I knew that sailing during the holidays was going to be more expensive than the regular months. So I was expecting for November, December, and January to go up. So I'm not really concerned because I was expecting for my expenses to go up. And as you saw, 2 of my cruises were not the free casino deals that I normally get. And so those were the main reasons why my expenses for January increased from the $1,849 that I had over in December versus the $3,212 this month in January. You can see here the total of the cruises were $2,700, whereas last month they were only $1,200. Yeah, so a 74% increase from $1,849 to $3,212, so $1,400 increase month over month. You can see over on the far right hand side that August and September and even December were less than $2,000 a month. So even though January was higher than the $2,000, it balances out. When I look at it year to date, my monthly average is $2,048 for the year. So $14,000 for 7 months. So not too bad. All right, fess up. You came straight to this section, didn't you? I ain't mad at you. I probably would have too. Oh boy, I'm excited for what happened with YouTube this month. obviously I'm over the excitement now. It's been a couple days, a few days since I saw what the end amount was. So let me go ahead and share that with you. And if you've been watching the channel, then you know that I had a video go viral, my first $1 million view, I wish it was $1 million. My first video with 1 million views. It didn't quite get to 1 million by the end of January, but I think February 1st, February 2nd, it hit 1 million. And yeah, so here is the result from that one video. It was published January 27th. So by the end of the month, it had already been out there for 5 days. And I'm gonna say it was 1 million, right? We go around 993,000. That was 1 million views right there. And it's still getting more views now. It's slowed down significantly, but in February, it's still getting some more views. But yeah, so now I know what YouTube pays for $1 million, I'm calling it fourth, 1 million view video was almost 10 grand. And yeah, I said this last month. I recently learned that January is the slowest month for advertisers. So now that the holidays are over, something about advertisers take another look at their budgets and stuff like that. And as the months go on, it increases, and usually November and December are the highest months for YouTube ad revenue. I'm not saying that no more. I'm not going by what other people say. I am being open and flexible to what God is doing. So I'm just going to keep enjoying this journey. Make sure I don't get stressed from it. Don't let it overwhelm me. If I see numbers like this, great. If it goes to where it was before, that's great. I'm enjoying it, and I really enjoyed sharing the information. I've had quite a few people who say that this content has helped them. So I hope it is helping you as well. I hope it's, that's why you made it to this part of the video. But yeah, from that one video, it was almost 10 grand. And you know what the saying is, a rising tide lifts all boats, or something like that. Yeah, rising tide lifts all boats. So from this one video, my other videos, of course, people would watch that one video, and then they would go and be more curious about, how is she doing this? How much does it cost? Blah, 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 blah. So then they would go and watch some of my other videos. So I got more views on other videos because of that video. And the ending result, my ending revenue that YouTube is paying me for January is this number right here. I know, right? So let's see. The way my brain works, living on cruise ships for $2,000 a month, that gets me 7 months worth of cruises. That pays for that. Also, I mean, of course, I'm thinking about now I can stop, not have to withdraw from my nest egg, which is what I'm living off of. So I can leave that money over there and just let it continue to grow. And I can tell you, I've already seen what February is like. It's not this number right here, at least not yet, but it is more than I've had in previous months. So YouTube is doing this thing, all right? Mind blown, okay? Again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But if it continues anywhere close to this, for me, this is life-changing revenue, right? This is life-changing. Yeah, I made 6 figures at my previous job, but I never made this much in 1 month outside of a bonus. Yeah, I made it in bonuses. But just my regular work, I never made that much. So for me, this is life-changing revenue. And I said all that because I always want to give back to what helped me. And if you are looking to start a YouTube channel, or you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and you are over 40, I am going to repeat this. This is the way to do it. Again, there are no guarantees, but the way I learned to do YouTube was through the YouTube After 40 program that Grounded Life put together, and I am so thankful. And obviously there are other content creators that are in this program, and they are also getting monetized. Not just monetized, but monetized faster than what you normally hear is the average time to get monetized in YouTube. Of course, everyone doesn't get monetized right away, but if you're looking to do YouTube, this is the way to go. And I would say for sure if you're over 40, but also if you were like me and listen, nobody want to hear what I want to say. I'm over 50. YouTube is for the young kids. I hate my voice. I hate the way I look on camera. I'm not photogenic. All the excuses in the world. Yes, until I told myself, just bump it, just do it and see what happens. My kids were encouraging me. Let the audience decide that. If you make a video and people hate the way you look, hate your message, hate the way you sound, people won't watch your videos and you'll know. So just let people make that decision for themselves. And once again, I'm going to encourage you, if that's something that you're thinking about, go ahead and click the link in the video description, check it out, see if it's right for you. If it's not, I understand. Or if you really don't want to do YouTube, then that's fine. It's not for everybody. But if it's something that you're thinking about doing, if you're really nervous about it, go back and look at my very first video. I'm reading word for word. Whatever you have to say or do, it cannot be worse than my first video. And I can testify that once you start doing it, every time you do it, you get better and better. So check out YouTube After 40 in the Grounded Life community. Once you sign up, let me know so I can go in there and I can cheer you on and we can rah-rah together in learning this YouTube and making some life-changing income. As promised, I am going to end this video letting you know what I plan to do if my plans, now that I have a plan to live on cruise ships for at least a year, at least I have through the end of this year that I'm already booked. So I may, and I'm really loving cruising, so I may decide to cruise longer, but I'm going to share with you what happens if what I plan to do if that doesn't happen. But before I do that, I definitely want to give a shout out to those who not only supported the channel with your eyes and your ears by watching and listening, but also you supported the channel with your wallet. And believe it or not, this is probably more so encouragement for me than the ad revenue, because the ad revenue is from advertisers putting their dollars trying to get more customers from YouTube. And so I am benefiting from me being the one making the content that people want to see. But these contributions, so the super thanks, are from you as an individual saying that you not only love the content that you saw, that you got something out of it, but that you appreciate it so much that you want to give a financial contribution. And oh my gosh, I don't care if it's 1 penny or $1 million. I so appreciate you so much, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will do my best to continue making content that is valuable for you, and so every dollar here will go towards me putting in more learning, trying to get better at YouTube, trying to increase the quality of the videos, the quality of the content, learning how to either put in more detail that you're interested in or take out the fluff to make the videos concise and short as possible. But yeah, that is what I will be using these funds for. And so thank you again so much for helping out this channel, which helps me out on my journey from poverty to paradise. And finally, what happens to me if my plans don't go as I want them to? So as you know from my story, I already mentioned that the journey that I'm on, I'm able to do this at about $2,000 a month. I am living on my savings and investments, and now the additional revenue coming in from YouTube. The revenue that I get from YouTube, I will be using that to pay for my journeys and including YouTube expenses and things like that, so I can continue to do this. But also, it means that I will be able to leave my nest egg alone, and that will last me even longer. If I decide to stop doing YouTube or stop living on cruise ships, I feel comfortable that I'm not touching that money, which I already calculated that it will last me until the rest of my life. But now it's even more of a cushion, right? In case Murphy's Law does decide to come knocking. I'm still fairly young, so I could always go back to work, but I don't think that will ever happen. Yeah, but I never say never. I do plan to continue cruising as long as possible because I do enjoy it so much. However, I know that there may come a time where I don't get the deep discounts anymore for whatever reason. Either I don't qualify for them anymore, or the cruise lines decide that nope, they're not going to do that anymore, or nope, they're not going to do that for Linnell anymore. Then of course I have backup plans, right? I can always just go back to Georgia. I can go find somewhere else in the United States where my family and friends are located, which I have family and friends all over, mainly in Louisiana, New Orleans area, Orlando area, other parts of Florida, in Georgia, in the Atlanta area. I have family, especially since Katrina, I have family and friends over in Texas, in Arkansas, all over the place. So yeah, that is one option for me. Another option for me is build up YouTube and make this a full-time business, and no matter what discounts I get or don't get, be able to live on cruise ships full-time. There are people who do this all the time. There's Mama Lee. I haven't seen anything from her lately. I think she's like 96, 97. So I don't know if she's still living on cruise ships, but she is a pioneer of doing this. Of course, you've probably heard of Super Mario. He's been living on Royal Caribbean ships for over 25 years, full-time, not doing casino deals, but having the income, the revenue to be able to afford to do this. And it's possible that I could make enough money to do this full-time without having discounts. And as I mentioned in my video, I'll link it here, Poverty to Paradise, I currently can live comfortably for around $2,500 to $3,000 per month for the rest of my life on my nest egg. And I don't have to do that on cruise ships. I don't have to do that in America because of what I have shown here in this video. There are lots of places I can go where I'm treated best, where my money will be able to afford me a lifestyle that I'm comfortable with. And that is my plan B, C, D, E, F. Hopefully you've gained something from this video, whether it's to help you in your journey getting out of poverty into paradise, whether you're planning on taking some cruises and you want to find out about some discounts, whether you're thinking about living on cruise ships full time, whatever you came to this channel for, I hope I was able to deliver that for you. If you have any questions or comments, as usual, leave them in the comment section below. I'll try and reply to them as soon as possible. If you haven't already seen the videos regarding my January travels on Carnival Freedom and Carnival Mardi Gras, you can check those videos out right here. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to making some amazing content for you to watch in the future. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you on the next cruise.